Good morning, students. Today we'll take the problem on income from house property for 15 marks. This is again 2014 question paper problem, and this is case study. This is question number 13, which is a case study, right? Which already I have sent it in the group. So again today, for today's class, I will upload the video. Okay, so let us read the question first. Mr. Shivappa is the owner of the house, right? So there are two houses. He used both the houses for his residence during previous year 2013-14, right? So for previous year 2013-14, he used both the houses for residence purpose, right? Means these are self-occupied. These are self-occupied house property. These are self-occupied property. Okay, residence purpose means what? Self-occupied. Okay, now details are given: municipal value, fair rental value, standard rent. Okay, house 1 and house 2 are given. Okay, now what is the question? Question is, as an assessee, which house Mr. Shivappa should consider as a self-occupied property? Okay, which house is considered as self-occupied property? Give the reasons why he has to select particular house as an SOP. Okay, this is the question. Now here because it's a case study, they have asked you to select which house is taken to be SOP. Okay, they have asked you to select which house is considered as SOP. So remember our format, the rules of income from house property. What did I say? I told you that the house will be SOP only when it has higher gross annual value. Okay, so first we have to calculate GAV. So let us calculate GAV. This is a solution which I have prepared. So first is calculation of GAV. First is calculation of GAV, right? So house 1, house 2, because in the problem it is told that both are, in the problem it is told that both are residence purpose. Both are residence purpose. So what have I done is, and what we have to do is, we have to calculate GAV for both the house. We have to calculate the GAV for both the house. You are getting? So calculation of GAV. Our steps are, the first one, municipal value 12 lakh, 15 lakh, fair rental value 13 lakh, 14 lakh. Okay, whichever is high. So 13 lakh for first house, for second house 15 lakh. Compared to SR, compared to standard rent. So standard rent for first house is 11 lakh, second house is 12 lakh, right? So you will get what? You will get the expected rent, whichever is less. So 11 lakh and 12 lakh is the expected rent. 11 lakh and 12 lakh is the expected rent. Now in the problem, see, in the problem, check out whether actual rent is given. No. Why it is not given? Because he used both the houses for residence purpose. He used both the houses for residence purpose. So they have not given actual rent. Therefore, we have taken actual rent as dash, and therefore GAV is ER, expected rent. Expected rent ಏನೈತಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ GAV ಹಾಕತಿಲ್ಲ. So GAV 11 lakh for first house, 12 lakh for second house. 11 lakh for first house, 12 lakh for second house. Right? Now what is the first question? As an SSC, which house is considered as an SOP? So tell me, which house will be taken as SOP? H2. House 2 will be taken as SOP. House 2 will be taken as SOP. Why? Because house 2 has higher gross annual value. House 2 has higher gross annual value. Therefore, house 2 will be taken as SOP. Okay. So you have to write as second house is taken as SOP because as per the income tax rules, the house which is having higher GAV should be taken as gross annual value. Okay. What is the second question? Give the reasons why he has to select particular house as SOP. Okay. So you have to give the reasons here. You have to say that what are the reasons of selecting particular house as an SOP. So what are the reasons? First one is, as an SSC, when more than 2 houses are self-occupied, he has an option to select the house which is having higher value as SOP. Yes, the house which is having higher value as SOP, and remaining houses can be taken as deemed to be LOP. Okay. And deemed to be LOP is nothing but just like let out property only, right? So these two points you have to write for the second question. These 2 points you have to write. Now you have to also calculate your income from house property for the entire problem. Why? Because this is a 15 marks problem, though they have not asked, but during the valuation time it is mandatory that you have to calculate the income from house property, and it was told, right? So we'll calculate the income from house property. Gross annual value, house 1, house 2. For house 1, it is deemed to be let out property. House 1 is DLOP. House 2 is nil. House 1 is DLOP. House 2 is nil. So GAV for first house is 11 lakh. Okay. For second house, it is dash because second house is SOP. Less municipal tax. Municipal tax for first house is 1,20,000. Second house, it is nil. So NAV 9,80,000. Second house, nil. Right? Next what? Standard deduction. 30% of NAV. 30% of NAV. So 9,80,000 with 30%, 2,94,000. Right? And interest is there. See, in the problem, interest is given. Interest on borrowed capital, previous year interest is given. So for first house, it is 1,80,000. For second house, it is 1,40,000. SOP ಗೆ interest ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Okay, so 1,40,000. So remaining value, if you minus standard deduction in interest from 9,80,000, you will get 5,06,000. That is income for the first house and 1,40,000 is a loss for SOP. Okay, 1,40,000 is a loss for SOP. Fine. So total income from house property is equal to 5,06,000 minus 1,40,000 is equal to 3,66,000. This is the answer for the income from house property for the case study. Okay. Now this is the 2014 question paper problem. Now coming on to the interest part, theory. Okay, theory, that is interest on borrowed capital which is taken for the purpose of house construction. What are the provisions? Many a time a theory question is asked. What are the provisions related to interest on borrowed capital under section 24? So I will tell you, please, and the notes which I have already sent it for that. So interest on the borrowed capital is allowed under section 24 when you calculate income from house property. But there are certain provision. Point number one, the capital should be borrowed from the bank or financial institution for the purpose of constructing the house property or purchasing the house property. Okay, the capital should not be used for business purpose. The capital should not be used for the personal purpose. Third one, the capital can be used for the purpose of repair, renovation, construction or demolishing of the house property. Yes, it can be used. Fourth one, for self-occupied property, interest on borrowed capital, there is a limit. If the capital is borrowed before 1999, then interest of rupees 30,000 is allowed. Is allowed as deduction if the capital is borrowed before 1999. So generally in the problem you will get the capital borrowed after 1999 only. Older problems we had 1999 date, but now generally the capital will be borrowed after 1999. So if the capital is borrowed after 1999, then interest on borrowed capital for self-occupied property, there is a limit of rupees 2 lakh. Means maximum for 1 year you can claim 2 lakh rupees interest as deduction. For self-occupied property. I hope this you have understood. Point number 5. If the property is let out property, then there is no limit. For interest. Interest can be taken as given in the problem. Only for let out property. Okay. Point number 6. If there is pre-completion interest, that is interest which is paid during construction period. Construction period means what? The period which is used as a construction time. So let's say I started construction in 2015 and construction of the house completed in 2020. So 5 years. So during 5 years, whatever the interest I pay, during 5 years, whatever the interest I pay, that interest is called as pre-completion interest, pre-construction interest. Okay. And after 2020, whatever the interest I pay, that interest is called as previous year interest. Okay. So pre-completion interest na ಹೇಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, you have to allow the deduction for pre-completion interest in 5 equal installment starting from the year in which the construction is completed or the interest is paid, whichever is earlier. Say if the interest amount is, let's say, 100 rupees for the pre-completion period, then if the interest amount is 100 rupees for pre-completion period, then 20 rupees every year you have to allow. 20 rupee for first year, 20 rupee next year, 20 rupee third year, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. Every year you have to allow 20 rupees as an interest. So 1/5, nothing but 20%. Okay, only for pre-completion interest. And this rule is applicable for both SOP and LOP. Same. LOP, SOP and DLOP, the rule is same. So this 6 points you have to write if the theory question is asked related to interest on borrowed capital under section 24. Related to interest on borrowed capital under section 24. Fine. So I hope this is clear now. And one more problem I am sending along with this video. I will send one more problem, which is a question paper problem, which you can consider as an assignment and try to solve it in your book. Okay, which is a 15 mark problem. If you cannot solve it, we'll solve it in the next class. Okay, fine. And one more is I'll send you the Google form along with this class. Okay, so fill out the Google form, which is a reference for me for today's attendance, right? As today I am unable to take the class through Google Meet. I am going to upload this video. Fine. So thank you all of you. Don't forget to fill the Google form for the attendance. Thank you.